Jace, thank you for joining me. I would love to just go through your story. We're still working together, but it's just been a really interesting journey so far. And I would love to start with before our first conversation. What was life like? What was writing like? What was showing like for you?
Thanks.
Well, it was good, but definitely I was running all around in every aspect of my life, with my horses, with my family, my training, everything. I had success, because from the beginning, since I started riding, I've been very competitive, and I've been good in riding. I had good trainers since a little kid, and my parents, they always support me from the beginning and gave me good horses. So definitely, I was from the beginning. I was good at it and started having results. But once I started, trying to reach the top sport, the top level, I figured I was missing something. I was not winning as much as a kid. I was missing opportunities, and I knew physically I was fine. My knowledge and my experience at that point for my age and my level, I felt it was fine and okay. I had good horses, but my mind was not there. Before I started working with you, I definitely was just riding for competing, for winning, and that's why I think I started winning less. Because I was thinking more in winning than just really riding.
Right.
Just really doing the basics of what we do, with horses.
Yeah.
Really the connection with your horse and understanding and how to take the best on each horse.
At that point, when you were so focused on winning, you were winning less as a result. You're just trying to figure out how to win more. How would you describe your relationship with the horses as a result of that at the time?
Very bad. Very bad. I mean, now I can say that.
Okay.
Because now I with everything that we've been working together, now I understand. So definitely it was very bad. I didn't have any connection. I lost all of that. I was just riding them like machines, and I don't feel proud of this what I'm saying, but that's the reality. I was just getting on them, knowing that I was a good rider, that I had a good distance, I was fast enough, and I was giving my best. But I lost that, perspective or connection with my horse, with myself. And I was just getting more into the winning, thinking in just, winning the class, winning the Grand Prix, and I was going nowhere, with that mentality. And I was getting a little frustrated, knowing that, like I said, for me, I was good enough to win. I had enough, the horses were good enough to be competitive. So yes, my connection was far from what it is right now.
Yeah. I do think that first of all, well done or brave to admit to that. And being so honest about it, and I really think that it really resonates with a lot of riders, and even for myself back in the day. I remember that when the days are long and you have to do everything yourself and you want to do well at the shows, it's easy for your mind to go on autopilot and to just ride one after the other, but not really be there, not really be present and connected. So I think it's something that I hear and see a lot, and it's not right or wrong. It's very normal, in fact, and it does indeed create that disconnect with yourself as well. And it actually does the opposite. It doesn't lead to more results. So yeah, that makes sense. Now, I remember we had our first conversation over FaceTime. You were in the car at the show, right?
At the airport, waiting for my wife.
Oh, right. Okay, at the airport.
In Michigan.
Okay, yes, that's right. Yeah, tell us about what was that conversation like for you?
Very excited, but at the same time I was a little bit nervous.
Okay.
Really? Yes, I was looking forward for having that meeting. But yeah, getting into that, knowing that was gonna be an investment to make for myself, for my career. I was looking forward, but yes, I was a little nervous because I didn't know if it was gonna work. So I was like, I want to try, but if it's gonna be the answer of what I'm looking for, no. Knowing that was my gut feeling, saying that this was what I was missing.
Right.
How to manage and how to be aware of my mind and to control more my emotions. So yes, that first meeting that we had was very interesting because I remember that you told me that I was telling you that I used to do my breathing exercises and I did all my routines before getting to my horse. I told you all this story about what I did before my important classes, and you told me right away, you said to me, the thing is, something is doing them, by like checking the boxes, and another thing is to really knowing who you are in that moment. And that was the first thing I really took from you and start working from, in that moment.
Yeah. What was that like, hearing that in that very first conversation? Did that make sense?
It did, 100%.
Right.
And it's funny because it's so simple, but we forget about these small details. And for me, actually, right now that I'm, starting to be in that level, competing more in the 5 stars, having these horses, it's the details that make the difference. I feel when you're jumping a 5-star, if you're with the right horse, the winner that day is not the best horse or the best rider, overall. It's the best combination that night or that day, that are connected with the horse and the horse feeling good and you feeling good. It's all about the details that makes the difference in that moment. So yes, it really impacted me.
Yeah. So what you're saying is, before you were at times going through the motions a little bit, you were doing the work and you were working hard, and yet at times not really being connected with your horse, not really being connected to yourself, doing the work but not really being there, being present with it. And so that very first conversation, that's already where we started to touch on that. It's like, okay, you can do all the right things, but if you're not being really there and being who you need to be, you're not really connected, then
what's the point? Yeah,
it's not working.
No.
Right? So we want to look at that. Right, so then we had a great conversation. Did you immediately say, like, yes, this is what I need, or was there still some doubt, like, I don't know if this is going to make the difference?
No, that was still far from what I wanted to make.
Okay.
But it was a start.
Right.
And it gave me a lot of hope. That first meeting that we had, because right away, like I said, you gave me these simple details, and when I really was conscious and aware, I noticed, that thinking about those pure moments that I was doing my, the work, that I was not really being there, then I started understanding there was so much more into it, because before that conversation that we had, if you asked me, I was like, I have everything,
Right.
I do my work.
Yeah.
But then once we start working together, then you open a whole new world that I didn't know. Maybe I knew it existed, but I didn't know how to handle it.
Right.
No?
To access it.
To be there. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Just staying one more moment with that first conversation that we had. You were at the airport in the car, And we had that conversation, and then at some point I dropped the price tag, right? The investment. What was that like for you?
Well, the moment was shocking, to be honest. But I'm not gonna lie, Vicky, that she's the one that told. The funny story is that I told Vicky months before that she needed a sports psychologist.
Right.
So she
So
started
Vicky,
with.
Vicky, just for reference, is your sponsor,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
she's
and
the
trains
owner
with you.
of Condada and
Yeah.
and other horses that we have.
Yeah.
So she started with somebody and she was so happy. And she told me about you.
Right.
And then my wife, she knew you.
Yes.
You know, you met her a long time ago. So well, when you told me about the price, it was a little surprise for me because I didn't know anything about this world, correct?
Sure.
But I knew, you know, that doing that investment, knowing that that was a very important part for having better results, and I was jumping for a lot of prize money at that moment already, and I was missing those opportunities before. I said that it was gonna come back, you know. So I took the chance and the risk
Yeah.
of doing it.
Yeah.
And the funny part is that a month after that we had this conversation, I went to the 5-star in Hamptons, and I finished 3rd place.
Yeah.
And that was a very big check.
Yeah.
And I remember Vicky telling me, "You see,
Yeah. Yeah.
already you're paying.
You paid it back.
You're paying your work."
Yes.
You know.
Yeah.
And we just starting that moment.
Yeah. Exactly.
So then after that moment, you know, from the conversation we had till I finished 3rd place in that 5-star Grand Prix, you know, I said, okay, now it's making sense, all the effort and the risk and the
Yes.
sacrifice we're doing here.
Yes. But you obviously didn't know that, right, in that very first conversation. And it required a leap of faith and trust in yourself to say, yeah, I'm going to do this.
100%.
Yeah.
It was, but I knew I needed to do something about myself.
Right.
And it was it was the perfect thing.
Then we started working. What were these first 3 months like before you had that great result at the show? What was that like? Was it easy? Was it tough? Tell me.
It was very tough.
Okay.
Actually, like I said, we've been working together almost 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Now looking back when we started, it was tough because it was a new thing to add to my life. Completely, different stuff, you know,
Yeah.
adding to my life that I never used for my whole life. So I needed to work of doing the stuff, you know, not only the breathing, you know, those exercise. It was more than that.
Yeah.
So it was more like a homework,
Yes.
you know, going back to school.
Totally.
So definitely at the beginning, almost the first year was difficult.
Yeah.
I needed to put my work. I really need, you know, I got tired. I got frustrated as well because sometimes I did the job and even better, and results sometimes, you know, they didn't come along.
Yeah.
But yes, definitely, if you see, you know, if we go back, since we started in August 23 to the present, my results, my percentages of rounds, it's so much different. You know, it's another, for me, it's like another sport that I'm doing right now.
Right. Yeah. Before we get to that, obviously one of the big goals we had as well was going to the Olympics, right? That was also a reason why you reached out and working towards that, being as well prepared as you could be for that. What was the journey towards the games like, and what was it like at the games?
It was intense,
Yes.
but very excited as well. You know, knowing that I qualified to go into Olympics, I feel is a dream of any top athlete in any discipline, in any sport. So definitely I was really, you know, taking it, good. Really enjoying the moment, the preparation towards the Olympics. And to be honest, I feel I arrived there prepared in every aspect. My mare arrived there prepared, myself, my team, everybody was in perfect condition for the games. And we arrived there. The performance in the ring didn't go as planned. Of course, at the moment, I got frustrated. I was like, wow, I cannot believe all the hard work, all the sacrifices, all the energy, myself, my family, my wife with my kids, and sponsors, my groom, everybody,
Yeah.
Having that result, I felt like disappoint everybody. My horse, my mare, she wanted to do amazing, but I came, after that stronger and bigger. I grow so much more. I feel that every experience, every class that you do, it happens for a reason. If you win or you fall, and I just took, the good moment, the preparation, and I was able to really be, I took the knowledge and I own it, being there. Even though the performance wasn't good, I knew I deserved it to be there.
Yeah.
So I couple days were difficult after.
Yeah, sure.
But then, like I said, I learned a lot from them. And I'm very happy I went to my first Olympic. Hope one of many. And yes, now I'm better. I'm a better rider, a better person after this.
The reason I ask is because it is my experience that those kind of results, experiences at a big championship like the Olympic Games can really have a big impact on a person, not just a rider, but a person. And I've seen people completely crumble afterwards because of it. And however, you really rose from it. You said just now, it made me stronger. How did you do that?
I think it's just by staying humble. And starting from why we do this. We don't do this for the Olympics. We don't do this for winning. We really do this because we love our horses and the sport. So if you really go back to that, to the basic, then it doesn't matter what happens in the Olympic or in a 5-star or in anything.
Yeah.
It's just about really understanding and being aware of what you really are and what you're really doing, you know?
100%. And tell us about those results. You just said, it's there is a huge significant difference between before and now. Tell us more about, as a result of working together, what has changed?
I'm a grown up now.
Okay.
I was a kid with my, Mary and with kids already. But I was a kid. With my horse and with my operation in my family, I was missing that part. I feel once I learned how to understand and be aware of my mind and how to not to control, because I don't feel, and that's something that you've been teaching me a lot or trying to explain me. It's not, we don't want to control emotions or thoughts. No, it's fine that they come. There's no right or wrong. It's just really knowing that they're there, but leaving on the side and just keep doing your work.
Yeah.
So that's that's why I feel my results, and in every aspect, like I said, not only in the showroom, in my house. You know, it's so much different now. I am able to do a better work in every aspect, because now I can control more my focus, and stay more connected in every aspect. Okay, in my family, my horses, my employees, my grooms. Before, I do remember, I never connected with them either, and every person is important.
Yeah.
You know, to be, you know, as a team, to the horses to be happy, the riders, my students, my clients, my sponsor, my wife, my kid. You know, if you're not connected with yourself, then how you're gonna be good if you're not good with yourself.
Yes, that's really a wise lesson. And I always say that you can only connect as deep with your horses as you are connecting with yourself. How would you describe your connection with your horses now as a result of all this work you've done?
It's so powerful. I feel like I can talk with them now. Like I literally now, it's incredible feeling when I'm riding my horses. Can be Condado, you know, my Grand Prix horse, or it can be my young horse that is jumping the 6 years old classes. It's an amazing feeling, because it's an everyday work. It's not only in the competition. You know, I feel people sometimes they just focus in the competition. They do everything in the moment of the competition. You cannot do that.
Yeah,
It's a everyday work, little by little.
that's right.
So, you know, I've been learning with time, and thanks to you for helping me with this, to add this to every day in my life, with every horse. And if it doesn't work that day, just keep trusting the process, and just keep working until you get there.
Yeah,
With each horse. Some horses are going to take more time, some horses are going to get it right away.
yeah,
Maybe a horse doesn't get it.
yeah. Sure.
You never know. But definitely, it's just putting the work every day, little by little,
Yeah,
trusting what you're doing that is right,
yeah,
you know, and just focusing on that, and being present, and just in trust, being powerful, and being light,
yeah.
staying light.
Yes. Yeah. You know what you described, like if you want to be consistent in the ring, and that was also part of the things you said in that very first conversations, like I want to be more consistent, right? And I always say that if you want to be more consistent in the ring, you have to be more consistent in the work, right? And that's what you're doing now. You're living that. It's not just the understanding and knowing, but you're actually applying it, living it, being that person who does that. Yeah. Last question. I'm just curious, has your trust in me as a coach changed in this process?
Yes. I mean, of course, at the beginning, we didn't know each other, no?
Sure.
And you start giving me all these new, tools for me to discover. And I was, little by little trying to figure it out, but without knowing you,
Yeah.
I was still, doubting
Yeah.
if it was going to work or not.
Sure.
But then with time, that results, my consistency, everything, it's arising now. I mean, don't tell me to throw myself through a cliff, because I'll do it. But yes,
Trust. Yeah.
of course.
Beautiful. Yeah, I guess it's the same like with horses, right? We just spoke to Daniel earlier, and he said, like, I feel like my horses will jump through fire with me, and it's a process that you build together. And I'm just extremely grateful that I get to do this process with you. So thank you.
No, thank you for your time and for being here.
Awesome.